throughout the world. So get ready, because here we go.
BYU will play anybody, anywhere, anytime. So I'm going with BYU. Go Cougars.
Top 5 college football quarterback.
BYU Provo's beautiful.
I would like to let the BYU folks know that I'm a fan.
Full-on phenom. The best scorer in the world.
Jimmer Fredette from BYU. Unbelievable.
This was on my bucket list to come out here, experience BYU. I heard it was breathtaking. Heard the fans were fantastic.
Heisman Award, Ty Detmer.
Doak Walker Award, Luke Staley.
Yeah, I know BYU. I'm betting BYU does show up to play.
Yeah.
I'm going to take BYU.
Athletic success and outstanding academic credentials.
National Athletics Director of the Year. Iconic programs, spectacular venues.
BYU will play for the national championship.
A really impressive performance by the Cougars.
BYU's legit. They're good.
Look at them. Look at that student section.
BYU Cougars are headed to the College Cup.
It's BYU.
Number 1 ranked javelin thrower.
It's the national championship, BYU.
BYU is in the Final Four.
With a first place finish. Individual champ again, BYU. Guess what? Nothing changed. Just upset
The third-ranked team in the country.
Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU.
Fred Warner.
Kyle Van Noy.
Ezekiel Ansah.
We were a big-time school, and people finally started realizing that.
Leads the country in point differential.
They got 100% effort. They've got 3 or 4 senior pro prospects that are on that defense, and I think Kyle Van Noy is as good a player as there is in the country.
He got it! Touchdown, Nick Matthews! The Cougars win!
And a wild Friday night in Provo, Utah. BYU wins it at the Horn.
It's a world-class institution.
We don't have a better relationship in the country than we have with BYU.
In the night when the moon is large, the world spreads blue in every direction. Oh, how fitting, because look at all this blue.
To the victors go the spoils. And the stars emerged under a full moon here tonight. So long from Provo.
Cougar Nation, make some noise. The big countdown to the Big 12 starts right now. Oh, you guys are fantastic. My name's Alema Harrington. I'll be your host here tonight. BYU alum, played football here 1984 to 1988, included a national championship. And I'm thrilled to be a part of this special evening. We got a big show planned for you. Tom Homo is going to be here. We're going to also hear from the head coach, Kalani Sitake. The voice of the BYU Cougars on the radio, Greg Wrubell, is here with a special guest. I know you're going to love that. But right now, I want to introduce my co-hosts for the evening. You know them from Sports Nation. Please put your hands together for Jerem Jordan and Spencer Linton.
Let's go.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What
Guys,
a beautiful sight.
Is this amazing or what?
You guys look amazing. Seriously, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah. Come on.
I feel like we just beat Gonzaga in 2020 again. Oh, my gosh.
We talked about this. We've been getting ready for this night for a few weeks now, and I knew it was going to be big. A few years. Yes, just talked with Tom Homo backstage. It's like, hey, this has been a long time coming. Yes, it has. I knew tonight was going to be big because it is the big countdown to the Big 12, and I knew it was going to be represented well by Cougar Nation. I'm not surprised.
This is better than I thought it'd be.
I'm not surprised at all.
This is delicious.
And we are streaming live now, and our social media accounts are going crazy. If you got somebody that is not doing this right now, you need to text them right now or hit them up on Twitter and let them know where the party's at.
Yeah, there's a Provo party happening right now.
Nice.
Hey, Alema, I want you to show everyone what's on your left sleeve.
Oh,
this takes on an extra meaning tonight.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this?
Yes, the Big 12.
Are we doing this?
Doesn't it look fantastic?
Oh, my goodness.
You know, you can't get to moments like this without exceptional leadership. And so we want to bring to the stage, in my opinion, the man who was necessary to usher in this invitation and now officially are going to the Big 12. Please put your hands together for Athletics Director Tom Homo.
Let's go, Tom!
Coach, we were talking a little backstage about how, this has been a long time coming. Nobody knows about this journey more than you do. I'm curious, how are you feeling on this night, on the eve of the officialness of it? That is a word, BYU, the officialness of it. You're at the doorstep right now. What are you feeling?
I'm feeling real good, seeing all Cougar Nation right on it right now. Let's go, baby.
Tom, I want to rewind to September 10th of 2021. I mean, you had known for a few weeks before that, but the official invitation happens on September 10th. And in that moment, I thought, this is the pinnacle. This is one of the greatest days of my life as a BYU fan. I feel like tonight, when it becomes official, we have a new pinnacle. How are you feeling about officially being a member of the Big 12?
Well, here's what I feel. This is not something that just happened in the last 10 or 15 years. This is something that goes back 40 or 50 plus years with all of Cougar Nation, all of our players, the coaches, the teams, the All-Americans, the captains. They built a brand. You kids weren't even around. But you are now, so it's time to carry on.
Does anyone remember what happened the day after the invite, by the way? The day after the invite, beating Utah? That was the best weekend ever. What have you guys done, obviously preparing to get to that point of the invite, Tom, but since September 10th to now to be ready for this season?
There's been a lot of preparation. I think one of the things I'm most excited about, because you can prepare and hope like crazy you're preparing for the right thing, but I'm super excited about the preparation that our football program has made. Coach Kalani Sitake and his staff, all of them, have invested a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, strategy, changes, all for the future, all for getting into the Big 12.
Coach, we appreciate you being here with us tonight. We want you to enjoy the evening. And everybody, just for your information, we're going to put up a countdown clock. It's going to be at the corner of the screen, all right? We are 22 minutes and 30 seconds away from the officially going into the Big 12.
Hey, Danny Ainsworth of minutes away. Let's go.
Before I leave, BYU!
BYU!
BYU! BYU! BYU! BYU! BYU!
Thank you, Coach. And if you're wondering, and you might be wondering this, how big is this? Well, it's so big that in New York City...
This is real!
In New York City, they are counting this down as well.
Look at that!
There's a look at Times Square.
Are you kidding me?
That is legit. That is not video, fake, Photoshop. That is actual billboard space in New York City for BYU and the Big 12.
How about New York City? Eastern time zone, we're in. Central time zone, we're in. We're only 21 minutes away from being in the Mountain time zone, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
That's amazing.
Let's go. We got a lot of stuff we want to get to tonight, and one of them is to bring up a very special guest, and that is Kalani Sitake, because he's got a special message just for you. Take a look.
Hey, Cougar Nation, the time is here. Football's right around the corner. We're in. Let's go. Can't wait to see you in Lavelle Stadium. Go Cougs.
Short and sweet. Give it up for Kalani.
That's a one-play, 75-yard drive, Puka Nacua jet sweep for a touchdown.
Short and sweet.
That's what that is. Yeah.
Short and sweet. Our head coach, Kalani Sitake, I love what Coach Homo just said about the programs. And you can, do all that you want behind the scenes, but your programs have to make it legit for the invitation to come.
BYU's been ready for a long time for this. There's another league that could have had BYU for a long time. They never invited them.
The league shall not be named here tonight.
We don't name that league. We don't name that league. But like ancient Israel and the pioneers, we waited and found the right place. The right place.
Oh, I love the reference. I love the reference,
This is the
Darren.
place. This is the place.
Brigham was right.
Indeed it is.
Brigham was right.
All right. We got a lot in store for you here tonight. And the next voice, usually you just hear the voice, you're going to see him tonight. And we want to bring up to the stage for your entertainment the longtime voice of the BYU Cougars. Say hello to Greg Wrubell.
Greg,
let's go.
Greg,
Yeah, let's go. Greg, I understand you have a little something special prepared for us tonight. Please.
So, I was asked if I would share with Cougar Nation tonight a little bit about how we got here tonight. And so, I would like, and I'd be honored to, share with you a story. Our story begins in 1895 with a game of baseball and a bench-clearing brawl. It's true. It's true. It was the Cougars and Utes back in the day. The first ever contest that BYU played. Then in the year 1922, BYU became a football school. But it was running the ball and single wings and leather helmets, and quite frankly, things were just okay on the football field. But on the hardwoods, the Cougars would soon come to wield a mighty weapon on the basketball court in head coach Stan Watts, an up-tempo sort, with a magical touch when it came to round ball, eventually earning a call to the hall. And he is joined there by Kresimir Ćosić, a Croat turned Cougar with mad skills through which he would dazzle and amaze, making unbelievable plays in a building as big as his game. And of the Marriott Center, it is often said, Stan Watts built it and Ćosić filled it. BYU Hoops won the NIT twice, but only 2 national titles would never suffice. BYU now has a dozen in various sports, but I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's stop and transport back to the 70s when football was just, for the most part, 3 yards and a cloud of dust. But the Cougs had on staff a defensive assistant who, as head coach, decided to be quite insistent that throwing the ball was the path to success. Lavelle Edwards was hired, and the team did progress. By putting the ball in the air all game long, and our football fortunes became indeed quite strong. Lavelle's passing game looked smarter and smarter, a quarterback factory, starting with Virgil Carter, and from Virgil to Scheide to Gifford and Wilson, then McMahon and Steve Young, and Lavelle wasn't done. A QB named Bosco took over in Provo. 84 was the year, and it soon became clear there was only one team the experts could deem the national champs. The best in the land, the little engine that could, with a coach as good of a man as there ever was, and Lavelle still inspires us in the building bearing his name. But that national championship in 84 means I have to catch up on the basketball floor to 1981. Before Jimmer Range, the Cougars were led by the great Danny Ainge. A multi-sport star, Danny capped his career as the National College Hoops Player of the Year. When we needed him most, he went coast to coast, winning the game to beat Notre Dame, and it took the Cougs straight into the Elite Eight. At the end of the 80s, Ty Detmer rolled in. With a gunslinger's skills and a Texas-sized grin, he patiently waited to grab the reins, then the throws and the yards and the touchdowns came. At a pace that had never been seen before, Ty and his BYU receiving corps unleashed their attack. beat big teams in big games, none bigger than Miami's bold Hurricanes. When the 1990 season was done, the ultimate player's prize had been won. The Heisman Trophy belonged to Ty. And from then to this day, Ty's still our guy. From Glens Falls, New York, came the kid born as James. But he was known by a name as unique as his game. Jimmer Fredette showed up in '07 and took BYU Hoops fans to basketball heaven. He broke records and ankles. His game was so clean, he led Dave Rose's Cougs to the Sweet 16. Beyond football and hoops, we've seen great coaches and teams make their way to the top in their own fields of dreams. National crowns on the cross-country course, on the links, on the track, and on the volleyball court. Our venues and beautiful mountain backdrop have made BYU's campus a picturesque stop. Miller Park ball games will always appeal, while Jen Rockwood's soccer team lights up Southfield. When it comes to our conferences, BYU's taken a tour. Rocky Mountain to Skyline in the old days of yore, then the WAC in the 60s, followed by Mountain West as the century turned, and then a new test 12 years ago with the West Coast Conference, while football explored FBS independence. The wins kept on coming, and publicity too, on ESPN, ESPN2, and the U. BYU TV and radio kept Cougar Nation connected while conferences shifted and schools were selected. BYU's time would soon come as a Cougar came back, Kalani was hired, and kept football on track. In the stands are the fans. Dressed in blue, dark and royal, and like the song says, everlastingly loyal. Season ticket holders, the young and the old, the tailgaters, the rock in the heat and the cold. Cougar Nation is more than a nice turn of phrase. It describes this great fan base in the grandest of ways. BYU's fans are more than just local. Cougar Nation's far-reaching, worldwide, and vocal. When a player puts on the Y, a bond is created that's hard to deny. A Cougar for life is what they become. Favorite daughters and favorite sons in the vast BYU family of then and today. It's for them that we cheer, and it's for us that they play. In the fall of 21, the time was arriving, a summer of change, ending decades of striving. For more than a century, bricks had been laid, the foundation firming as games had been played. 2 years ago, as I'm sure you remember, it was the 10th day in the month of September. The Big 12 was calling BYU for its close-up. With the invitation in hand, the school and fans rose up. We celebrated and speculated about seasons to come, but unfinished business, indeed there was some. A win over Utah. A win over Utah to cap off that week that began a new era and ended a streak. Since that glorious night 22 months behind us, we've had countless moments and wins to remind us that P5's a label that, while earnestly earned, only serves to affirm a commitment that burns, bright and steadfast, loyal and true. Cougar Nation, rise up and let us hear you. Let's go! are in the Big 12. Now come great expectations. And tonight is a night for great jubilation. You've done it. We've done it. The time is now here. We are minutes away from our Big 12 New Year. I just got to say, go Cougs. Midnight's fast approaching. For those of you who listen to me on the radio, you know I've got a new partner this year. He played under Lavelle Edwards and played with Kalani Sitake. He's a great broadcaster and a great BYU Cougar. Please bring to the stage my man, Hans Olsen.
Hey! All right! Holy cow! Oh, come on, Cougar Nation, I want to hear it. Oh, I want to hear it. Oh, that's too good. Oh, keep it going. Keep that going. Oh, yeah! Yeah! Woo! Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah, that's good, Greg. I haven't heard that or felt it since the year 2000 that I left that field, so that feels really good.
I know you heard it and you felt it with one of the touchdowns that it remains one of the most memorable ever scored by a BYU player.
I think we're out of time. I don't think we have.
Is there a chance we have a time to see this? We have time to see it real quick? Oh, no.
All right.
Well, we're not going to see the scoop. Oh, yes, we are. Here's our guy. Pick it up and go!
Wait for it.
I didn't know what to do with my arms. My arms got a little flaily, but I didn't know what to do with my arms.
Best celebration ever.
Fantastic moment, man.
How about a nice round of applause for Greg Wrubell and Hans Olsen?
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hans, nice job, brother.
Hey, they say that past performance is a good indicator of future success, and if that's the case, then we have been ready for the Big 12 for a long time.
Yes, we
All
have.
the way back to the 80s, we're going to give you 12 highlights from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Even in the 80s, 87 and 88, I was wearing number 15. We beat them twice. Once at their place, once at our place. Rodney Rice, he's going to take that one back. And we got so far up in this game, I even got a carry.
That's
number
you,
15, running the ball.
That's you. Hey, you remember this? New Year's Day, 1997. Shea Muirbrook and his 6 quarterback sacks. Big part of BYU knocking off number 14 Kansas State. The Cougars finished 5th in the country. K.O. Kalalui with another KO punch as they take down Kansas State.
We're going to see our boy Sark in October at Texas. Let's go. Women's Hoops 2002 gets to the Sweet 16 by beating Iowa State. A late bucket here in the Cougs in Jeff Judkins' first year into the Sweet 16.
2009, Jerry's World. Show me some Mad Max. Max Hall against Oklahoma. And it was the offense and the defense getting the work done.
Look out for Colby Clausen.
He works here now. He works in this building.
Oh, man, he's going to have to go to the sideline. He might not come back. He did not. Max Hall.
McKay Jacobson.
McKay called Max that summer and said, I'm open in the end zone on a tour of Cowboy Stadium. He caught the game winner there. Unbelievable.
How about this? 2013. Oklahoma's up 2-0 on BYU. There's 7 minutes left. Game's over, right? No, not at Southfield. Ashley Hatch gets taken down. Dirty play.
Should have made the World Cup roster.
Paige Hunt Barker makes it 2-2. Moments later, Jaden Beck makes it 3-2 over Oklahoma. 3 goals in 5 minutes. An unbelievable comeback win over Oklahoma.
2014 Taysom at Texas. Oh, the hurdle. Wait for it. Yeah! It's so good. We're going to show it 5 times. One for every touchdown BYU scored that day. 41-7. Demolishment the year before in Provo and in Austin the next year.
Take that, Bevo! Show me some hoops. Tyler Haws, the leading scorer all time for the Cougars, off 1 foot.
Clutch.
Count it.
How about off 1 foot, fading out of bounds? Clutch City, the all-time leading scorer in BYU basketball history. Scored more than Jimmer, including that to help BYU beat Texas again.
That was in Kansas City, where BYU is going to play in the conference tournament starting this year.
Jerem, one of the most magical moments I've ever experienced in all of BYU athletics happened in the Smithfield House in 2018.
Oh, it was so good.
In comes Powerhouse Texas. But the #1 seed BYU Cougars were having none of the Longhorns. In the Elite Eight, they sent Texas back to Austin as losers again. Into the Final Four.
2019, TJ Haws at Houston. Down 1. The bounce, the bucket.
Hug somebody, TJ.
Hug Mark Durant. What a shot. It's 1 foot with the Haws brothers, I guess.
I think we're going to have to show, let's do it one more time.
Dave Rose was at this game. He went to Houston, had just retired. Huge win for the Cougs.
All right, time for a little softball. I'll tell you what, Spencer, you called this game.
I called these games.
Both
the Baylor
of these
Bears
games
came into Provo ranked 25th that weekend. They did not leave ranked. BYU swept the Bears into submission. And you know what? It was just the beginning of BYU beating Baylor. We'll have more on that in just a moment. Connor Mance. Not one, but 2 national championship runs. The second to beat a guy wearing an Iowa State jersey, Wesley Kiptoo, who was supposedly the premier runner. Connor Mance is the premier runner.
And last but not least, last season, maybe you were there. BYU and Baylor right before the half. Chase Roberts with a toe drag swag. Jaron Hall with the throwback. And look at the beefy boys up front leading the way. Hall scores the touchdown. Lopini Katoa scores the touchdown late. BYU's defense showed up. It was tough to get a yard here. Blake Shapen throws it through the end zone, and BYU beat Baylor.
Rise and shout for beating the Big 12.
Proof positive right there that BYU is ready. BYU is ready for the Big 12. The question is, Big 12, are you ready for BYU? We are under 2 minutes. I want to keep the energy high. Let's bring back onto the stage.
Let's bring up the cheerleaders.
Let's go.
Tom Homo, Greg
Tom
Lavelle.
Homo joins us up here now.
Come on up. Liz Darger, let's go. Brian Santiago, let's go. Reagan Hanser with us again. Cosmo in the house.
The #1 mascot in the country is here.
Let Provo hear it. Chad Lewis is joining us as well. There's Brian Santiago.
Chad Lewis is in the house. Brian
Legends
Santiago.
all over the stage.
We are under a minute now to officially becoming members of the Big 12. When we get to the number 12, I want everybody in the audience to count down with us, and everybody watching on our social media platforms. Everybody's going to be countdowning around Cougar Nation.
Hey,
and we're
Alema,
30 seconds away.
This beats anything Dick Clark or Ryan Seacrest have ever done. Provo is the center of the Big 12 universe right now.
It's getting real. It's
Get
getting
ready,
real.
Cougar
Let's
Nation.
get ready to count down.
Let's go.
Here we go.
11,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock! Cougar Nation, you guys have been fantastic. Give yourselves a nice round of applause. Cougar Nation, thank you very much. We're officially members of the Big 12 Conference. Drive safe. Thank you very much. Have a good night.